Welcome, my darling pretties, to our Beyond the Dawn of Business podcast for pretty empowered female entrepreneurs. It's time to step into your power, pretties. Lift each other, support the squad, and choose a life filled with the autonomy and freedom to live your dreams. I'm your host, Dawn Beth, owner and founder of Beyond the Dawn digital business brand and agency. My coffee is hot and my eyelashes are on, so we are ready to go. Hi, pretties, and welcome to today's episode. Today, I'm going to talk about what you should be doing in your business if you feel like you have taken a financial hit or if you feel like you're not making any money. This is a really emotive subject, so a little bit of a trigger warning before we go and discuss this and we start to think about this. If you are currently in a situation where money feels tight, or you are worrying about money, or you have financial difficulties or anything like that, just give yourself an area of self care around this discussion. Because whether you realize it or not, just listening to me today talking about not making money might not actually be the best choice for you. It may add to your mental load. And this is your opportunity now. If you feel like actually what I'm about to say might make you feel more stressed, and you might need to take some time away from these thoughts and feelings in order to collect yourself and figure things out, then obviously lovingly stop listening and come back to this at a later date at a different time when you are at the place where you might be willing to consider more of a strategic thought process rather than an emotive thought process. I love strategy. I teach social media managers strategy. I do lots of strategy for online businesses, coaches, and even now quite a lot of corporations. And what's really nice about the strategy piece is that it can be quite straightforward in terms of, we can see patterns, we can see things that need to occur. It doesn't work in your emotional center. Okay, strategy is great, but we can only intellectualize what needs to happen and give points on what needs to work. A lot of the time, you do need to fully consider where you are from an emotional standpoint as to whether this is actually going to be helpful or whether this is just going to create more stress for you. And if you think that there's any chance that this might create more stress, then please do stop listening and come back to this at another time. However, if you're sat and you're thinking, okay, I'm actually at a point where I need a bit of advice. I need some strategic thinking. I need to do something to keep me productive. And at this moment in time, I don't feel like I'm either making the amount of money that I want to make, or I'm not making any money at all, and just not having any answers and not having a plan and not doing anything is creating more stress, then this is a great podcast for you to listen to, and perhaps one to download so that you can listen to it offline and come back to as many times as you need to, pretties, as many times as you need to feel like actually you've got some of the exercises down and comfortable. So first and foremost, I want you to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Really take your time. Sometimes in business, you have a crummy month financially. You might even have a crummy 6 months financially. And that is very normal. Big corporations and businesses that are able to recoup profit, notice how I said profit, not turnover, recoup profit for their businesses throughout the year, rely on a cushion of profit if they have a crummy month. Okay? If you're not at that stage yet, and your business is what we lovingly call hand to mouth in terms of the financial cash flow, then you might not be sat on a cushion of profit that will sustain you through a difficult period of time. And that's where stress can come in. Okay. It would be really easy for me to give you the obvious answers on this podcast and say things like, up your pricing structure, go out there and put more offers out, consider your profit margin and make sure that you're earning more profit so you can create that cushion. And that's all well and good. And if you've never heard those three things before, then write them down, stick them on a post-it note, and we'll come back to them at a different time because they are handy and they're not just rubbishy things to say. They actually are things that you can put some of your focus towards. But before that, I want you to explore the reasons why. We're going to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Why are you not making money? What is the reason that's stopping you from actually gaining the amount of money that you want to earn? Okay. I want you to recognize where the hole in your boat may be. Okay. So for some people, you might not be surprised to hear that the hole in their boat would be something like poor time management. Like, I haven't got time to take on more work. I've got a bottleneck. I'm earning what I'm earning. I can't take on any more clients. I'm at capacity. I'm done. It might be a case of I had multiple people who didn't pay their invoice this month that should have done. Or it could be a case of I put out some offers and people didn't buy. Or I put out some offers and I got a lot of people messing me about, taking my time, who then didn't purchase. You might just say, well, I haven't got any offers out and I don't know what to offer and therefore I'm not selling anything. I can't work because I'm not well, or a number of different things. I could literally list thousands of reasons. Okay. You will have your own reason. You're going to need to be really honest with yourself, and you don't have to ever tell anybody. You don't ever have to tell me. This is between my voice, your conscious mind and yourself. Okay. You don't ever have to tell me, the person. Keep it as private as you like. But there is a reason why money isn't being made. That reason might be that you didn't book work for this month 3 months ago. It might be that the way in which you're running your business is so hand to mouth that you don't have a security blanket to allow you to go through those months that are difficult. Okay. There was a massive entrepreneurial rush, and I talk about it all the time, and I'm probably going to be talking about it until the day I die because it was really interesting to be a part of, especially at the moment of my business when I was a part of it. Massive entrepreneurial rush online um, in 2020 and 2021. And lots of people came online, lots of people wanted to learn new skills, lots of people wanted to start their own businesses. And I was perfectly primed to support people in that arena at that moment in time. It was like the universe had just plonked me perfectly exactly where I needed to be for when that occurred. Couldn't have been a better time, better place for me in my business. Massive entrepreneurial gold rush. And lots of people wanting to work with me, inquiries coming in all of the time, people loving the work that I was doing. The energy was right, the information was great. People were going and making money themselves and they were just delighted, and it was all wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. The reason why I refer to this quite regularly is because I do think that a lot of people are using, because we're only in 2023, a lot of people are still using 2020 and 2021 as a baseline. You can't use 2020 or 2021 as a baseline. Like in social media, when we're looking at your insights and we're looking at the way things grew online digitally for brand awareness, for reach, for lead generation in 2020 and 2021, you almost have to remove those figures off. There was a massive increase of people that came onto online like a tidal wave all in one go. It skews the figures. It's not real. It's not genuine in terms of truth of what business is usually like on a normal year. If you look at 2016, 2017, 2018, you will see trends and patterns that can be relied upon for strategy. You look at 2020, 21, you're looking at figures that you're looking at viral figures. Everybody wants to go viral until they realize that that's not a good baseline. Okay. You don't monitor somebody's resting heart rate when they've just ran a marathon. You or a sprint rather, or whatever. It's not the correct data measurement. And I'm not going to go too deep into the secret geek analyst that I am, but it's just not true. Okay. Normal business, a normal year, a stable year where there aren't hundreds of thousands of people running to Facebook because they're not allowed to leave their homes, will show you that actually business is a bit of a roller coaster, and it does go up and down, and there are difficulties, and there are ways for you to recognize the gaps in your business right now. If you're not doing work in a way that you would usually, that gives you an opportunity to work on your business. Okay. Because right now, the worst thing that you can do is to sit and complain and whinge and decide that people aren't purchasing, that you haven't got an opportunity for the business to thrive again, and that it's all worthless. So you sit and you procrastinate and you do nothing, which ultimately determines that in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, 8 months' time, 12 months' time, you will either be in this exact same situation, but with more financial pressure and stress, less belief that it can work, less productivity in terms of the strategy that you're going to employ to make sure that it does work. And quite frankly, for a lot of people, back in employment, back in steady, easy, somebody else's problem, 9 to 5, structured in the box employment. Now, little caveat, because we love a little caveat. If you're sat here listening to this and thinking, actually, being back in employment for me wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, there's no shame in that. Okay. There is no shame in looking at the landscape of your existence and deciding this is what I need for me right now, and this is what will help me right now. Okay. If you go out of your cave as a cave woman and there's a ton of lions or dinosaurs or crocodiles outside your cave, you might think to yourself, I'm going to go back in the cave and I'm going to wait a little bit longer, and I'm going to, count all of the things that I've got in stores, make a plan, and then come back out of the cave at another time. Yes, I am suggesting walking out of your cave being dangerous in the same way as having a business might feel scary, just in case you weren't keeping up with my random analogy. That is what I'm, suggesting. Are you putting your head in the lion's mouth or not? And being in business, sometimes you really are. But you might decide, actually, I want a bit of a easier existence for the next 2 years. I want to go and get myself a nice cushy job that will allow me to get the income that I need, and I'll turn this into a side hustle and I'll build it up slowly. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. You can always come back to it. There are strategic moves that you make for survival. And if you're feeling actually like, I can't do that, please evaluate your life and do what's right for you. Okay. You might get into employment and go, nah, this isn't for me. I'm unemployable now. And you might find the motivation to go all the way in and find your place in a baseline, normal, standard marketplace. Okay. Not in the entrepreneurial rush, not in the gold rush, but in a normal business framework. Okay. Staying in power has a lot to do with businesses that succeed. Being able to weather the difficult months and recognize that this too shall pass has a lot to do with successful business. Resilience in the face of adversity has a lot to do with businesses succeeding. There are so many businesses that would have faltered and failed if they quit when it got tough, if they just stopped when it was difficult. And of course, some businesses will last 10 years, 20 years and be absolutely fantastic, and then just one day go into administration. And that does also happen. And it's scary for those of us that are trying to navigate and keep things going. But the best thing that you can do is continually look at the landscape. Figure out what is working for you. What are the holes that you've got in your business right now that need to be plugged? Okay. Because if you're sat going, oh, I'm not making any money, but I haven't recently reviewed my offers, I haven't listened to my audience about what it is that they actually want, I haven't considered what my average sales price is per consumer right now, and I haven't created something that fits the 2023 need, I'm still trying to sell something that sold like hotcakes in 2020, then there's the hole in your boat. Okay. Now, if, for instance, you identify a ton of holes and you plug all the holes and you find that still it isn't working, then there's another element of review that needs to occur. Okay. Do you know about your audience? Have you exhausted your audience? I can tell you now, I know lovingly, and this might make a few pretties feel called out, and I hope you'll take it with the loving energy that I'm sending to you. But I know a lot of the sales that aren't occurring right now are because you will have exhausted your audience. You will have sent out an offer every 90 days. You will have sent offers out on your email all year. Every year, you'll have been sending 5 emails a week out. You'll have had people that were too polite to knock themselves off your subscriber list, that aren't listening, that are no longer interested, that have gotten used to you having an offer so regularly that they can wait till the next one. Because it's all right, I don't have to buy this thing. There'll be another one in my inbox next week. And it's interesting for me to say that because I'm literally emailing offers every single week now, right up till Christmas. But if you're on my email list, and I hope you are, you will know that that's not normal for me. The offers in my emails are actually very, very rare. My Friday email is usually all value all year through. You know, we will always let you know when we're launching, and our launch emails go out to everybody, and you guys will know. But we don't actually sell constantly, and nor should you. Okay. Think about where these areas are for you. Take this time, see it as a gift, recognize the gratitude in the moment. Maybe you're being pulled away from client work so that you can work on your business. Maybe at this time of year, when people are starting to wind down so that they can have quality time and evaluate their life, their businesses, their situations, their family dynamic, their mental and emotional well-being, which it all happens around this time of year. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to wind down a little bit, for you to review, for you to come back in January stronger than ever. Okay. You will have the answers if you look at your situation with a bird's eye view. If you haven't heard that podcast about bird's eye view, go and check it out. It'll be in the playlist. It's a really good one. So many people gave me great feedback on just that small perception and that small perspective shift. Go and have a listen to that. You will find the answers. I promise you will. And then change the things that aren't working and test new things to see what does work. Be curious rather than being negative, rather than being scared, rather than being worried. Be curious. Okay, so this isn't selling anymore. That's interesting data that I can use. Let's see what else could work. Let's see what my people are saying to me. Let's see what I need to change to make this better for everybody involved. Okay, roll with the punches and let me know what you come up with. Let me know what the things are that you recognize in your business, the things that need to change. I bet you that actually somewhere deep down you were already aware of them and perhaps have put them on the back burner because of being too busy. The universe has a funny way of arranging things so that you are forced into areas that need and require some focus. Maybe that's what's happening for you. And maybe this is the thing that will catapult you into one of those businesses that's actually got a stable framework for longevity rather than a flash in the pan, viral, here today, gone tomorrow type business, of which there are hundreds of thousands and you do not want to be. All right, my pretties, go forth and be wonderful. I'm sending massive love to you all, and I'll speak to you next time.
If you're loving our Pretty podcast, come on over to Social Pretties, our online safe house and sisterhood community. It's a safe space where female entrepreneurs connect and thrive in a warm, welcoming fold of pretty amazing women. You'll find an easy redirect in the description, and I can't wait to see you in there. And depending on where you're listening right now, we would love it if you would click subscribe or follow so that you can be the first to know when our new podcasts come out.